All right, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining today. Today we have a very special guest on our webinar, and we'll be introducing her in just a few seconds. But today's conversation topic will be mostly to focus on how to drive engagement and conversions with video content. So excited to have Andrea here with us today. Great. Carol, can you head to the next slide, please?
Um,
Great. My name is Genny. I am the customer success manager here at LOVO. Carol, can you give us a little intro?
Hi guys, so I'm the content manager here at LOVO.
And Andrea?
Yes, my name is Andrea Park, and I'm a business operations program manager at Spekit. So I work cross-departmentally from engineering to sales to customer success.
Great. Okay, and to go over some housekeeping rules as per usual with our webinar, if you have any questions, please enter it into the Q&A box and we'll get to it in the last few minutes of this conversation today. Great. And so to give a little overview brief about Genny, we are an AI voice and content creation platform. We have over 1 million users, and we're available in 500 plus voices amongst our Pro, Rapid, and Global voice line. And with that, we have over 100 languages and accents that you can choose from. Great. So super excited to give an official introduction to our guest today. We've already heard from her just briefly ago, but if you can just give us a little bit more information about your role, that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. So as I said, I'm Andrea Park. I work for a SaaS startup. So it's called Spekit, and we're a just-in-time learning platform that delivers contextual, personalized enablement and coaching to revenue teams. So our platform will go on top of different websites to help enable sales teams right in their flow of work. So where I learned about Genny was to help our enablement team. We wanted to create videos, as well as with our customers, we wanted to create videos for them. And instead of just using a sort of one-off solution with one person on our team recording their own voices, we decided to look for an alternative tool. And that's how I came across Genny.
Super cool. And I was actually wondering if you can share a little bit more context about kind of like what just-in-time learning is for those of us who may not be as familiar with Spekit.
Of course, yeah. So just-in-time means that you're learning in that flow of work. So just-in-time and flow of work are very much like sort of similar in a sense. You're getting that information when you need it. So instead of sending out a Slack or a message to a manager or a teammate looking for that information, you're able to find it right when you need it. So whether that's in a sidebar or whether you're looking at a field in Salesforce, you can get an understanding of the knowledge you need right when you need it. So you're getting it like just in time. I know I keep saying it, but it's basically right there when you need it. It'll help save times both on the teams and on managers so that people are getting answers to the questions they need instead of spending countless hours looking.
Awesome. Cool. And thank you so much for your explanation about Spekit. When we found, when we've obviously found and connected with you guys, we were super excited to learn like how Genny was used in your day-to-day workflow. And that's kind of what we'll deep dive into today as to how you in your role have come to find Genny and incorporate Genny into your workflow and what that's been like for you in terms of the engagement and conversion side. So we'll get started now. And one of the first questions that I wanted to ask was obviously, I understand that you guys have this just-in-time learning platform, but how you came to find Genny at that time, like what were you doing that you found a need for, a solution like us incorporated into kind of the main of what you were doing?
Yes. So we have these older videos called the Spekit Simplified videos, and they were an older version of our UI that would help train new customers. So we had one person making them. He would draft a script and then he would voice them over and also record them. They were very outdated, probably about 2 years. So in startup world, that's basically an eternity. That's very old UI. So I was in charge of revamping them so our new customers could have better tools and learning. So when I was going through the process, I started redrafting the scripts, and it was just very tedious and took up so much time. And he was unable to record them. So I suggested looking for an alternative solution and looking for an AI voice. That way, in the future, no one has to sit down and record. If there's any audio issues, that's not a problem. So this was just a good solution overall. So I started looking into a lot of different solutions and came across Genny. And I absolutely loved Genny. The flexibility and the ease of use were just incredible. It was basically a one and done solution. I've used a couple different AI voice platforms at my previous job, and Genny by far was the best and simplest to use right off the bat. And since we have two female co-founders at Spekit, we wanted to use a female voice, and we absolutely fell in love with Sophia. So now Sophia is sort of our voice, and the marketing team loves using her for their videos as well if they need anything. But we've kind of just fell in love with Sophia, and she's become a true part of the team in a sense.
Yeah, so excited to hear that, and also love to hear on a personal sense that Sophia has been a really good fit for your brand and overall like the tone you'd like to express. I think we, aka me and Carol, are also excited to share that Sophia is one of our favorite voices. I think her voice has the flexibility to fit that, like she's very bright but also can be very expressive, and be able to kind of relay that tonal message that you're trying to in your brand when you're kind of trying to have that marketing message be a little bit more bright, fun, and also kind of serious, but like not too serious.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's very much how we felt.
Yeah. So curious to know, like, what role does Genny play in the Spekit's current business strategy?
So it definitely plays a big role for not even just the customer side, but we're moving more into the sales side with it as well. So the Spekit Simplified videos that I mentioned, those are for our customers, but we've also been sending them out to prospects, or our prospects have been finding them as well. Since we have them listed in our help center, they're easily accessible. People can kind of go in and see like, oh, we're interested in this feature. Oh, here's a whole video walking through how we would use it. So they're able to see the ease of use and how real life use cases are coming to life through these videos. And speaking of use cases, our sales team has been starting to use them as well to sort of show what Spekit looks like on different platforms and how different teams from revenue or maybe marketing or other departments can utilize Spekit. So it kind of creates a new opportunity for us to send out use case videos. And now, even in the product side, I've been recording more videos using Sophia as well to showcase our new products and beta testing and how to beta test properly and new features for internal use too. So it's kind of all over the place. Everywhere has sort of been impacted by Genny one way or another. So everyone truly knows who Sophia is and her voice.
That's great to hear. And it sounds like, given that so many of your teams within Spekit are using Genny, like curious to understand like how much time has generally gone into producing like videos with kind of like the workflow that you have with Genny so far.
Yes. So I'll give the example of the Spekit Simplified videos. Personally, I've redone all of our Help Center articles. So I take the articles, just copy them, and then throw them into Genny and the AI writer. And then I look at that, I set up the appropriate settings and then generate a script. And from there, I basically am able to follow a guide of where I need to record. So about 75 to 80% of my time, I would say, is spent using Genny to kind of generate that script, perfect the voice, maybe adjust a little thing like phonetically, because Spekit's spelled a little bit weird. So it's got just a tiny bit sometimes, but a lot of my process is now spent in Genny just creating and executing, and it saves me so much more time just having it all done in one spot instead of having to go back and forth and talk with different people.
Super cool. And what challenges were you facing previously that prompted you to look for, you mentioned that you were curious and kind of changing to an AI voice. Like at that time, like what were kind of the things that were on the top of your mind as to like, okay, like I think this is, not obviously you mentioned earlier that, before you were auditing, this was like a very time consuming project for somebody who was taking over this before. But yeah, like what at that time were on your mind as to like, okay, we should, use some service like an AI voice.
The biggest one to me would be lack of autonomy. Being able and being roadblocked is very frustrating. Things need to be done very quickly. And with startups, everything's changing all of the time. So having to be roadblocked by multiple people with one person who's writing the script and then voicing, it really added a barrier to success in getting these videos done. With now being able to have an AI voice, we're able to create videos a lot faster. With product changes, we can do them over and over and over again, and it takes like a tenth of the time getting them done. We can spin up videos for customers, we can spin up videos internally. It's a lot easier and it takes up a lot less time. And through this process as well, I've been able to kind of set a standard internally of how to record videos better and using different platforms so they're not all crunchy and staticky. They're a lot more clear. And it's had a very interesting impact. All of our videos have truly leveled up across the board.
Got it. Just curious, did you then like create a how-to Genny for your internal team to kind of create and produce videos then?
Yes, we do. So we use Spekit internally as well. So we have a whole little topic on how to use Genny, what voices to use, and everything that they need to know, just so in case they do want to use it, they can. And I can also jump on calls and show them.
Got it. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds like with Genny, you were able to kind of understand like how to save time and solve for a scalability issue. I'm actually curious to also know like how much time previously you guys were spending in your workflows when you were recording these and coming up with the scripts like on your own versus like kind of now your workflow is integrating AI writer and being able to like just select Genny and be on the go, enter your script and be able to generate now.
I think previously I haven't spoken with the person who originally did the videos, but I've checked out his 50-page Google Doc that he did to
Wow.
draft everything. It was a lot, yes. And when I initially started out with not even using the AI writer, it would take me about half a day to create a script, kind of go through
Wow.
it. And then after talking with Carol, I figured out the AI writer. That was just me not paying attention. So then it was a lot faster. And then it went down to even just 2 hours of getting it done, of just recording the features and recording the videos. The editing process takes a little bit longer just because of different reviews and different tweaks from our marketing team, but the creation process is a lot easier to get through. I said 2 hours, that's being generous if I mess up recording, but it can even get down to an hour or less getting these videos done. They are about 2 to 3 minutes, so they're pretty fast and easy, but it's just getting the recording all set up.
Got it. Yeah, no, that sounds great. And I think like it's really exciting to hear on our end that you're able to kind of save a lot of time in your workflow to obviously with AI writer, there is a little bit of a learning curve more than like being able to produce the text to speech component. But I think once you get the workflow down and be able to just use Sophia, figure out Genny and get more used to the system, like you're able to kind of produce like your 1 to 2, 3 minute videos on a much faster scale. I'm actually interested to know like how your Spekit simplified videos are used in a day-to-day capacity. You did mention obviously that your marketing, sales, and a lot of internal teams, as well as now like customer facing components are there, but how are these videos playing out on a day-to-day capacity?
Yes. So it's actually pretty interesting. We were talking about creating one today as well. So this is a great day for this webinar, but we create them for not only our YouTube channel so that customers can quickly go through them. We have them in a single source in our help center, but we also have them listed throughout every single article and embedded within each of those articles. So people can have them there. We also have them within Spekit as well. So when customers are getting started, we have a whole little area for them to go through each of the videos. So they're at their fingertips as well. So if they see a word that says like home on our homepage, they can hover over it and then see a video. And that's the Spekit simplified video, sort of walking them through what they're doing, voiced by Sophia. And we've also been having our customer success team as well, sending out the embedded videos in their emails with access to information about all of the different features or upcoming features that are launching that is voiced by Sophia as well in those Spekit Simplified videos. So our customer success team is kind of taking the initiative and sending those along as well, which is very cool to see. So they don't have to send a whole document or like to a help center article. They're able to send a quick like 2-minute video to answer a person's question.
Cool, that's awesome. That means it sounds like Sophia's voice is everywhere, serving as a resource. And
Yeah.
it also sounds like these videos are also just like more of a dynamic way to kind of process information rather than reading help center articles or something that could just be a lot longer. And like with these videos, I think being able to plug them in into like help centers, resources at the bottom footers of emails, I think that's a great way to use Genny in a day-to-day capacity. One of the questions that I was actually wanting to ask you was to, you mentioned that your workflow is also with AI Writer and recording with Sophia's voice, but I'd love to touch upon kind of like your processes after that. You mentioned to us previously that there's, obviously after you're recording, there's, a little bit of like polishing up with the audio. And I believe you're also using our subtitles feature. And if you could tell us more about that.
Yes. So what I will do once the video is completed, I will go back on to Genny, and before we upload it to YouTube, I will export the audio file and then I will upload that directly to YouTube. So previously I was just manually typing in all of the subtitles. So now I'm able to just export immediately, which saves so much time, and just kind of figuring out the timing just took forever. So this makes my whole workflow a lot simpler, being able to just export the file and upload. About a time estimate for me that it took would probably be about like 30 minutes typing it up on manually, and now it's about 5 seconds that it's done and over with.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, we also have our auto subtitles feature where you can automate a lot of these processes and create more engaging subtitles. And I'm excited to hear that. And I hope that they're also helping with just overall accessibility and being able to digest the content of these videos better. I think that was the aim that our team had thought about when we had released our auto subtitles feature. Like when I saw it and saw like, it's pretty quickly, right, that Genny will interpret and be able to generate these subtitles, and you have a little bit more control over them as well after refining. Totally understand if you have a little bit of frustration with, getting Genny to fully understand your company name, Spekit, because I understand that she might not be aware all the time. But yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely love it.
Yeah. One of the things that I'd love to understand is if you have gotten any feedback from either your internal teams or your customers about like the video content produced itself, or like what the general like feedback is. I understand that it's in a lot of the workflows, but is there anything that they're commenting on specifically that they love? Yeah.
Definitely. I think the initial launch would probably be the best place to start for feedback from my team. We had originally had a new launch coming out and they wanted to create a video. So I kind of offered up my assistance. I've done some video editing previously. So I spun up a video and then I found Genny and then added Genny's voice in, and the whole team didn't really know what I was doing, but my manager did. And we ended up sharing it to the whole company, and everyone lost their minds. They were so excited to have these kind of sort of professional-esque videos that were a lot different than the ones that had the older UI and were a little bit slower and not as direct. The videos were great, but they definitely needed a polishing up and a little bit of a revamp. So this video kind of more aligned with our brand and sort of felt really exciting. So everyone kept asking for different videos immediately. And I told them to all calm down a little bit, but they were very excited about this new possibility. Marketing had so many ideas for new videos, and everyone's just really excited to get in and figure out what's going on and share these new videos and not kind of be worried about misinformation from these old videos that has been kind of spreading around. Even our customers previously were mentioning how bad the old videos were in terms of the UI. It was just so outdated. And now they have these new videos that are coming out more frequently with the information that they are happy to share with their team, instead of being worried that what's being portrayed is wrong.
Yeah, and it sounds like this was like a pretty big task to kind of audit all of the existing videos that were there before. And I can't imagine like what the initial like like brainstorming process was for you in terms of like how you wanted to carry this through. And I'm glad to hear that you've had like more context about AI voices and how to save time and be able to revamp this process. I think I can imagine if other teams are still kind of like recording their own voices, and I think that alone itself will eat up a lot of the time in that process itself. And I think one of the questions, my personal questions I wanted to ask you in our conversation today is obviously you are a seasoned Genny user, and what has been your favorite feature so far in all that you've used?
I really like the AI writer. That's definitely up there in my top one. I think adjusting the speed of the voice is probably my favorite by far. I always mess with the speed on how fast or how slow videos are, depending on what the subject is. And I think it's such a small feature that has such a big impact. Because sometimes if what I'm saying or what we're trying to convey is very lengthy, it's nice to kind of slow it down so that they have time to sort of walk through. Or some videos that we talk about analytics, those ones can go a little bit faster since we have so many different types of analytics, but we want to create
Mhm.
different videos. We can speed it up so it goes a little faster for the viewer. And it's such a small thing that makes a massive impact to the tone and how the information is coming off to viewers. And I love it.
Yeah, we obviously recommend for our customer base to also adjust with the speed. I think that, like you mentioned, has a big impact on kind of like conveying, if with like certain a little bit more lengthy, you want it to be a little bit faster so that you can get that going. If you wanted to slow things down, I think with the certain number of our voices, it will express your messaging a little bit differently. And so
Yeah.
that's great to hear that you've been able to kind of play with those things.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and so thank you so much for sharing your answers today. And I think we're just at a few minutes left in our conversation. And so I think Carol would like to ask some additional questions as she had for you as well.
Yeah, so I guess from my side, like the content head in me, and I think I just wanted to make sure that, anyone who either is joining us live or when they sort of, visit this when we sort of upload it, I think it's interesting to find out for you guys in terms of video content versus text content, for example, in terms of like, where do you see like a better conversion using video? I think that's a really important thing for people who are deciding like investing time into creating documentation versus like a video tutorial, for example. Like the benefits would be really interesting to find out.
That's actually perfect for me, I think, in my company, since we're also sort of in that brand of content. I think there's a very big value to videos. A lot of people will opt to watching videos a lot easier, or even just listening to the content over reading. I personally like having documentation as well, side by side, in case I need to go back to referring it. But I see documentation being more for technical processes, while videos can kind of get you through a concept very quickly. So I think videos are very digestible and can get done instantly, while text takes a little bit longer and it takes a little bit more to sink in. Does that
And
answer? I'm not 100% sure.
and I know that one thing you guys were really concerned about was like, driving that platform adoption in terms of your users actually getting on and using that. And have you found that there's been an uplift since you started doing so many of these sort of onboarding videos versus, what it was before?
Yes, we've definitely seen an uptick in engagement for sure. The videos have been getting a lot of views and engagement. And throughout, I think they're just helpful for onboarding. So customers have been viewing them a lot more. We can't see exactly where they're being viewed, but we know for sure a lot of them are going to be viewed in the help center and in the platform. But we feel that they have made a very positive impact on training not only customers like the admins, but also viewers who are engaging with our platform every day.
Okay, nice. And the other thing I guess I had was talking about like using it across different areas. And we spoke briefly before about how that's helped you like collaborate across teams when it comes to, inputting for videos and things?
Yes. So we use Genny in a couple different areas, specifically like customer success is one, but we've also moved more into sales for use cases, which is really nice. So the sales team can have these pre-created videos that they can send out to prospects immediately. So if a prospect uses Zendesk, we have a Zendesk use case video that's ready to go and sent out to customers. So these are pre-created videos that they can send out, bing, bang, boom, done. So they love it. And on the product side, I've been pushing a little bit more so that we can create those videos for our internal team to learn about new and upcoming features, as well as send out videos for beta customers who want to learn about new features and maybe be a part of a beta. So we've kind of been pushing towards product as well, but the sales team definitely takes advantage of those use case videos to help out and send to prospects.
Yeah, and when it comes to on the sales side, I guess, I mean, video is not unusual, but I typically people receive some kind of like pitch deck presentation or like, that kind of thing. And have they seen a difference by using a video content versus a pitch deck, for example?
I think there's different engagement levels for outreach. For them, is a little bit more pitch deck focused. This is more when they're kind of talking to the customer about how they can use our platform, how they can use Spekit in their day-to-day to kind of visualize what it would look like for them. So it's kind of a way to get them to the selling line or get them across that selling line to show them how it would actually work for them in a different platform.
Great. And then I guess the last question I have is probably something that I think others will find is what advice do you have for, say, someone who might be the sole person in charge of content and they really need to scale content, or there's just a demand for it? Like, having gone through it yourself, like, is there sort of advice for people who are needing to scale content?
I would definitely take advantage of the AI writer. Sometimes I'll just type in there random stuff that I want to convey, and the AI writer just creates a whole video deck for me itself. And I don't even have to come up with different ways to frame or walk through different areas. It saves me so much time and just like mind space in a sense, knowing that I can get it all done in one sitting. And it's a great way to just scale content very quickly. The AI writer just saves so much time. If you have existing content that needs to be revamped, you throw it in the AI writer, describe what you want to do, and it will create it for you right there. And you can export the audio file or subtitles right when you need them.
Great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think we have a lot of other users who are creating similar content in terms of for learning. And I think if you were the sole person in charge of that responsibility at your company, I think the biggest impact and the most convincing reason would be that it would be saving so much time in your workflow and being able to add to brand consistency. I think that's some of the things that we have heard from our customer base, that they're able to, select a voice like Sophia and have that represent, and have her, be able to scale content fast and be able to do that on a larger scale. That way that this is being able to be used in multiple departments like yourself, and sales, across sales, marketing, customer success, and just like all sides, really everywhere.
Yes, I completely agree. Brand consistency is one thing I didn't touch on that much, but brand consistency is such a big thing when it comes to voices. Sorry, I don't know another word to phrase it, but brand consistency and having the same voice has such a big impact, knowing that it's the same voice, it's authentic, and it's just official in a sense for our brand is just so helpful. Having different voices, trying to train different people would be incredibly confusing, but knowing that Sophia is going to voice everything makes it a lot easier, and it also stays in brand, and she can kind of be that Spekit voice.
Great.
That's awesome.
I'm glad to become like a strategic partner in your content team, your one-man content team.
Great. All right. We are just 1 minute over time. Thank you, everyone. Obviously, thank you, Andrea, as well, for participating in our webinar today. If you have any further questions, please feel free to shoot us an email at hello@lovo.ai. Yeah, great. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights about how, Spekit has used Genny in your overall content strategy and, talking about engagement with, what that's been like. Appreciate your time and great.
Of course. Thank you for having me.